Make my day.
Every single week, I put my freaking heart and soul into this. I don't go out there and laugh. It's not funny. It's not fun. Nothing's funny to me. I don't want to go out there and get embarrassed on Monday Night Football in front of everybody.
I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
So ain't nothing changed from yesterday. Still the same person I was yesterday, and I got the same thing for you that I had yesterday. You know why I'm here.
You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it. That's the great thing about sports. You play to win. And I don't care if you don't have any wins. You go play to win. When you start telling me it doesn't matter, then retire. Get out. Because it matters.
This is a busy, very busy, but fun-filled Friday. It's a Ferris Coffee Friday. Hi, everyone. Welcome. Glad you're with us on X's and Bros throughout the state of Michigan. I'm Matt Shepard. Trent Bally is back. Good to have Trent back. Brett Hayes, appreciate all his hard work yesterday. Yes. Trent is back from visiting some friends who came as a surprise birthday party present for him. How was it?
Oh, it was awesome. I mean, I couldn't ask for more. We went downtown, had a good time, did a little bar crawl. It was great. One of the better birthdays I've had, honestly, Shep. It was fun.
And you went out to dinner, I would assume.
Yes, we did. We went to Manelli's, which is a local, no free ads, of course, but it's a local establishment.
Okay. All right. So it was downtown Granville or downtown Grand Rapids?
Dinner was in Granville. Bar crawl was in Grand Rapids.
Gotcha. All right. Recovered yet or still a little foggy?
Dragging a little bit, but ready to go this morning.
And what was the topic of discussion with you and your buddies from last night?
Oh, it's always sports.
Right.
Always.
I know that. Yeah, that's why I ask. What is the
heavy.
topic? Okay, Lions heavy.
Lions heavy, Tarek Skubal heavy, Red Wings heavy, that kind of stuff,
Red Wings heavy. That's interesting. And I assume you were watching the game last night in which they won 6-3.
Yep.
And it was a little bit of a back and forth situation, and they had John Gibson pulled, and then eventually Cam Talbot comes in and gets the job done. And Alex DeBrincat had 2 goals and an assist and a 6-3 win to snap a 3-game slide. Okay. So I'm always wondering about this. Since you've been doing this show, have you become more head first, heart less, or have you become more argumentative, debatable, understanding, changed your views on some of the things that they have said that you might have agreed with before, but now take a different tact and a different look at it?
Yeah, head first, heart less, I will say for sure. Because, Shep, you have changed my line of thought. Not in a bad way, but just, when someone says something and has a big opinion, my first thought sometimes is to be, critical is not the word, but just to analyze it a little bit more and ask them why they think that way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I've done it probably too much. So don't go too far. I have done that way too often. I had a conversation with somebody yesterday who, again, got a little hyperbolic. I thought one of my new favorite words, and I got to stop using it, but it's the 2 greatest athletes the NBA has ever seen are Wilt Chamberlain and LeBron James. And I said, that's an interesting take. I said, what makes you say that? And then they list all the things that Wilt Chamberlain had done. And I said, absolutely. I get that. And then LeBron James, I said, you realize how many great athletes there have been in the NBA. I'll give you a quick example. Not that this would be an answer to it, but Danny Ainge played 2 professional sports, right? Like, we make so much of Deion Sanders and Bo Jackson, and I get it. Danny Ainge played basketball and Major League Baseball.
Good one.
I mean, we're not talking about Michael Jordan playing the NBA and minor league baseball. Stop with the call up to the White Sox. It was strictly a publicity stunt. Stop it, okay? He can't play professional baseball. But, I mean, Charlie Ward won a Heisman Trophy and played point guard for the Knicks. You're aware of that. We're talking about athletes here. That's all, okay? They're all athletic. I get that.
Yeah.
I just found that interesting. And the LeBron James thing, he went on to talk about all the great things that Wilt Chamberlain had accomplished as an athlete prior to the NBA. And then LeBron James. And if you're going to say, well, LeBron James played wide receiver in high school, Find me an NBA player who didn't play another sport. Okay.
Yeah, they all did, right?
And wasn't pretty damn good at it, you know. And then we're going to get into, well, you know, a lot of NFL players say he could have played in the NFL. Okay. Do you know how many people I run into who say, I could have done this if? It's endless. So that's the reason, you know, it was probably a worthless debate. It's like, what are you doing? Why are you wasting the time doing it?
But Shep, that's a great example, because like doing the show with you every morning to answer the question originally, like that's just how my brain has sort of shifted a little bit with, you know, when someone says something like that, you're instantly like, why do you think that?
Yeah, I'm always interested, not to run into a debate here, but I'm always interested on why. Why do you feel that way?
I'm not saying you're wrong. I just want to be right.
Exactly right. I'm not saying you're wrong. I can tell you this. Michigan State's been right in playing basketball this year. They burned San Jose State 79-60. Third straight win for them, so they're 3-0. Good for them. Jackson Cole has played really well, huh? Leading the Spartans, 17 points, career best 18 boards. Carson Cooper dropped in a career best 17 points.
Both the big men played well, yeah.
And now they get Kentucky next. Good for them. You know, we'll play a little bit later on what Tom Izzo had to say in his postgame. It is fantastic. It is classic. It is something I wish every single high school coach in America, and I don't care what sport it is, every single high school coach in America would grab and play for every practice and every game. And maybe after every practice and every game. Pistons are back and forth tonight. They're dragging an 8-game winning streak with them. They're going to host 6 Detroit Philly on the road last Sunday. NFL's Week 11 started in Foxborough. Patriots rolling to their 8th straight win. The last time they've won this many in a row, Tom Brady was under center. They beat the Jets 27-14. Travion Henderson rushes for 2 touchdowns. Was on the receiving end of Drake May's lone touchdown pass. New England is 9-2. You want an eye-popping stat for you? The previous 2 years, they were 8-26. 8-26 and 23-24. Now 9-2. New York drops to 2-8. That's incredible. I don't know if Drake May is the MVP, and I'm okay saying that. You don't know either. But I'll be damned if I'm going to hear people talk about various names and not include him. Okay,
he's got as good a case as anybody.
He looks as poised, calm, and efficient as just about any quarterback. Now, I know you're going to say, Shep's playing the Jets. Fair enough. I'm just hoping that if you're going to use that argument, the next time you as a Lions fan support Jared Goff against the Washington Commanders, they say the same thing. I just hope the next time you talk about Josh Allen, you remember he went up against Miami and crapped his pants. I just hope the next time you bring up a specific player, you've got the same criteria that you're using for Drake May. All I'm asking is for balance, fairness, and objectivity. Oh, sorry, he's in his second year. Dan Marino. It's not like this hasn't been done before. Okay? So let's be careful when we're talking about that kind of stuff. MVPs were announced last night in Major League Baseball. One surprise, one historic. Amazing stuff. We'll get to that when we come back on X's and Bros. We're brought to you this first hour by Mitch Lyons Wealth and MitchLyonsWealth.com on a Ferris Coffee Friday. Really good stuff coming up. Rob Rubik's going to join us at 7:35. Excited for that. 8:18, Rob Ellis from WIP in Philadelphia joins us from an Eagles perspective. And an icon analyst in college football, the great Gary Danielson, joins us at 8:35. All that plus you and your informative objectivity throughout our show on a Friday morning.
Shop the Meijer 2-Day Super Sale this Friday and Saturday for a good deal better on family favorites. 3-pound bags of select apples are just $1.99 each. Select varieties of Michelina's frozen meals are 88 cents. And select varieties of Aunt Millie's bread are buy one, get one free. Plus, stack your savings. Spend $100 or more between November 12th and the 18th and receive a $10 coupon at checkout. Getting savings on top of savings. That's the good life at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Thanks for tuning in to X's and Bros with Matt Shepard on the Michigan Sports Network. Make your voice heard. Text Sports Radio, all one word, to 21000. That's Sports Radio to 21,000.
Make sure you listen weekly to our Moving Ferris Forward interviews with Ferris President Bill Pink and other leaders who are moving Ferris forward. Find out more about Big Rapids and Ferris and what they have to offer at ferris.edu.
Hey Lions fans, the boys in Honolulu Blue are making us proud again this season. A great game plan combined with great execution leads to victory. Moving up and down the field is important, but you've got to be able to convert once you reach the red zone. Things get tighter, less room for error. It's no different in retirement. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. When it comes to your finances, the retirement red zone is a critical time in your planning. The 5 years before retirement and up into your retirement can dictate whether you have the success you hope for. The game changes. You've got to protect what you've spent a lifetime saving and optimize your retirement income. If you're not sure you've got the right people on your team to ensure your success in the retirement red zone, what are you waiting for? Contact us today and put the Mitch Lyons Wealth team to work for you. Go to MitchLyonsWealth.com. A simple 10-minute call can help us determine whether we can help you. 30 or 40 years of saving is worth it. That's MitchLyonsWealth.com. Mitch Lyons Wealth, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
Back with you on X's and Bros on this Ferris Coffee Friday. This hour brought to you by Mitch Lyons and MitchLyonsWealth.com. Some MVP voting took place last night, accumulating last night. And Aaron Judge walks away with another MVP, his third in his last 4 years. Won the batting title by hitting .331, mashed 53 homers. He earned 17 first-place votes. Cal Raleigh, 13. And now Judge becomes the 13th player to ever win the award at least 3 times in his career, and the 4th Yankee to do. The other Yankees were Yogi Berra, who won 13 championships, by the way. Never gets nearly enough pop. Talk about greatest champions of all time, Bill Russell. How come nobody says Yogi Berra? 13. That's incredible. Joe DiMaggio, Mickey Mantle all won it 3 times. Jose Ramirez finished third, Bobby Witt Jr. fourth. It's a good debate. I'm sure people in Seattle yesterday and today will talk about, well, it's only because he's from New York. That's the feel that the Yankees create. And quite honestly, it's unfair. At least in this situation, I think it's unfair because of how great a season. You know me, I don't use those words very often. How great a season Aaron Judge truly had. He had 331, which was 20 points clear of Bo Bichette, who people want coming to Detroit, and I understand that. So he wins the batting title with it. Pretty damn good. Love that, right? His home runs of 53 were 4th most in all of baseball, 2nd in the American League. Cal Raleigh had the most in baseball. Then it was Kyle Schwarber, who finished 2nd in the National League. Then it was Shohei Ohtani, and then it was Aaron Judge. So Aaron Judge was number 1 in average, number 2 in homers. In RBI, he finished 2nd in the American League. Okay? 5th in all of baseball. I don't know how to put in Eugenio because he played for both the American and the National League. But Aaron Judge had 114 ribbies. So he's top 5 there. He is second in total bases to Shohei Ohtani. He was second in walks to Juan Soto. On base percentage, he was number 1 in all of baseball. He was number 1 in slugging. He was number 1 in OPS. And he was number 1 in WAR. I get why it was such a close race because of how good Cal Raleigh was this year. And I actually said when the regular season ended, if I had a vote, and I don't, I would have voted for Cal Raleigh. And I probably would have done that for a lot of reasons, but probably first and foremost because of the position he plays. The importance of his position and his defensive prowess did not allow a pass ball all season until the series against Detroit in the playoffs, which was ironic because Dylan Dingler hadn't allowed one either, but the same game they both allowed their first. Anyway, I would have voted for Cal Raleigh, but I also said I would have no problem if Aaron Judge was named MVP. And he earns that. He is so humble, and I think that's an endearing quality for him. But the most endearing quality that he has is he understands the weight of playing for the Yankees. And it's different. It's got to be different. I mean, you talk with players who have played there, it is a different feel because of their history, the 27 world championships, most in any sport. The number of massive names that have worn that same uniform. The Garrys and the Ruths and the Whitey Fords as a pitcher, the Jeters, the Mattingleys, guys like that. Obviously, Maggio, obviously Mantle, all those types of guys. Okay, so it is a different field, but credit where credit is due. The baseball writers actually, in all likelihood, got this right. It wasn't just because he played for the Yankees. It's because of all the things that he has done. Now we're watching pretty historic stuff from Aaron Judge. I don't know if this seals a Hall of Famer type label that goes with him. But it's hard to deny the company that he keeps. His 53 homers, he's the fourth player with 4 seasons of at least 50 home runs. We said this when it took place. It's amazing what he was able to do. And he does it as the guy in that lineup. That's the other thing. Like a year ago, you said, okay, well, Juan Soto was there helping him in the lineup. With all due respect to certain guys, Ben Rice, he probably should have won the Silver Slugger instead of Zach McKinstry, because look at his numbers across the board. He's number one in just about every single category that people would use for a Silver Slugger. But with all due respect to him, how many guys in that Yankees lineup scare the hell out of you? Not a ton. Cody Bellinger had a nice year, but not a ton. Everybody's pitching him, supposed to be pitching him differently, and it didn't matter. 331 and 53. So kudos to a guy like Aaron Judge, who I think represents baseball the right way, definitely represents the Yankees the right way, and is an incredible player. Meanwhile, the best player on planet Earth, and for some, the best player you've ever seen, Shohei Ohtani, a unanimous choice for the National League MVP. It's not surprising that he was named MVP. The unanimous part is the amazing thing. He has been named MVP 4 times in the last 5 years. And each time he's done that, he was unanimous. That's incredible. He's the only player among the 4 major sports to be named unanimous MVP more than once. He's also the first athlete in the 4 major sports to win the MVP and a championship in his first 2 years with a team. I don't want to hear how he's got a lot of help. He had some help in Los Angeles too, and they couldn't even make the playoffs. All right. And I get the Dodgers have 3 of the top earning pitchers in all of baseball. I get how great Mookie Betts is, not just as a baseball player, but as a bowler and as a golfer. I get how great Freddie Freeman is and how clutch certain other players can be. Tommy Edman a year ago, Max Muncy this year. Yes, I understand all that. Will Smith this year, truly one of the better catchers in all of baseball. I'm just saying that dude, for him to be a unanimous choice 4 times in his career, something we've never seen before. We need, not that you haven't already, but we really need to appreciate it. It's just simply spectacular. I thought, Barry Bonds locked in, despite the Royals. And 7-time MVP was something special. It was. Feel really fortunate to be able to see something like that. Seriously. Sometimes we need to just take a step back and instead of every single day recognize, just how good certain guys are, even if their careers are continuing. Let's not wait until after their life is over or their career is over. I'm sure people did that in New York when Mickey Mantle was playing. When he wins 7 World Series, 5 in his first 5 years, when he's a 20-time All-Star, when he's a Triple Crown winner, when he wins the MVP, and that's what he did. He won the MVP. It's sometimes I still marvel at this. He won it in back-to-back seasons, and by the time he was 25 years old, he had won 5 World Series, 2 MVPs. Oh, and he also won, how many batting titles in his career? At least 1 batting title during that time. I'm sure they were appreciating that. I hope that while he is still playing, not that we have to get super caught up in a moment and say he's the best I've ever seen in any sport, but Shohei Ohtani doing what he's doing, let's appreciate that for a while. Instead of what's his next at-bat, let's appreciate his current at-bat and some of the other things that he does with it. Really impressive stuff. Here's our Mitch Lyons well-pulled question of the day. Actually, we'll get to that when we come back. We got to hit a break. That's 28 after the hour. quick time out on X's and Bros. Stay with us. Rob Rubik, a little bit more than an hour from now on a Ferris Coffee Friday.
Soar to new heights of winning with Eagle Casino and Sports. Enjoy your favorite games wherever you are, whether at home or on the go. Dive into exciting slots, spin the roulette wheel, or challenge yourself with virtual table games, all at your fingertips. Sign up now and opt in to receive a deposit match up to $1,500 for the casino, plus up to 100 free spins. Download the Eagle Casino and Sports app today and experience winning with just a tap. Go you! Must be located in Michigan and 21 years or older. Other conditions apply. Visit playeagle.com to join the action. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Make sure you listen weekly to our Moving Ferris Forward interviews with Ferris President Bill Pink and other leaders who are moving Ferris forward. Find out more about Big Rapids and Ferris and what they have to offer at ferris.edu.
Shop the Meijer 2-day super sale this Friday and Saturday for a good deal better on family favorites. 3-pound bags of select apples are just $1.99 each. Select varieties of Michelina's frozen meals are 88 cents. And select varieties of Aunt Millie's bread are buy one, get one free. Plus, stack your savings. Spend $100 or more between November 12th and the 18th and receive a $10 coupon at checkout. Getting savings on top of savings. That's the good life at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
The Michigan Sports Network is your exclusive home for X's and Bros with Matt Shepard and The Huge Show later today at 3 p.m.
Hey, back with you on X's and Bros throughout the state of Michigan. Thanks for being with us on this Ferris Coffee Friday. We're brought to you this hour by Mitch Lyons and MitchLyonsWealth.com. By the way, we were just talking about the MVP discussion, with Shohei Ohtani and Aaron Judge. Some people may wonder, at least if you're a Tigers fan, I was wondering, did Tarek Skubal receive any votes? And when you're a voter, you fill out a ballot of first, second, third. I think it's up to 10, and then they tabulate points. So, for example, Shohei Ohtani received 30 first place votes. Okay? So no one else received any votes in the first place, obviously. Kyle Schwarber received 23 second place votes. Juan Soto received 4 second place votes. Geraldo Perdomo, Arizona, received 3 second place votes. I don't know, but obviously Arizona connection there. So you can go all the way down. Elliot Cruz, for example, received a 10th place vote. So he received 1 point. So it goes all the way up and down. Francisco Lindor, Freddie Freeman, Bryce Terang, Nico Horner, all receiving votes. Not first place votes, but at some point up to between a second place and a 10th place vote. In the American League, only 2 players received first place vote. Aaron Judge 17, and then Cal Raleigh 13, and then they flip for second. Nobody else received second place votes. The most third place votes was Jose Ramirez, and that's why he was finished third. He had 19 third place votes, and then Bobby Witt received 19 fourth place votes. Where do you think Tarek Skubal finished in the MVP voting of, again, points first through 10th? And then the number of votes you get are tabulated with a certain number of points. Aaron Judge, 17 first place votes, 13 second place votes, gave him a total of 355. Okay? I'm not asking for his point total. Where do you think Tarek Skubal finished when Judge, Raleigh, Ramirez, Witt Jr., and then other players who may have received? So, for example,
I would sure hope middle of the pack. I would hope 5 or 6.
5 or 6?
Yeah.
Because Jacob Wilson finished with 1 10th place vote. Tarek Skubal finished 5th.
Okay. I think that's fair.
He received 1 third place vote, 2 fourth place votes, 7 fifth place votes, 10 sixth place votes, 4 seventh place votes, and 3 eighth place votes. Not bad. He finished ahead of Julio Rodriguez, ahead of George Springer, obviously ahead of Garrett Crochet, who he beat for the Cy Young, ahead of Jeremy Pena and Byron Buxton and Nick Kurtz and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Cody Bellinger and Michael Garcia and Bo Bichette and Riley Green, who finished, oh my God, with 1 9th place and 1 10th place vote. I know.
So that second half of the season killed him.
Yeah, like he was ever in the discussion. But he received some votes. I mean, you can say something like that. I mean,
you can hang your head on that, sure.
Yeah. Look, it's another example trend that strikeouts have become an afterthought. And if you don't believe me, Kyle Schwarber finished second in the National League MVP vote. Look at the number of strikeouts Kyle Schwarber had. So, and I like it. Don't get me wrong.
Me too.
But he was right behind Riley Green. We always talk about Riley Green. Oh my God, 201 strikeouts. How many is too many is what I always ask people. Okay. I think anything over 150 is ridiculous at the major league level.
Same.
Okay. On the other hand, here's what players would argue against me, and I've had this debate with them. You're seeing Tarek Skubal for 6 innings. Then you're seeing nasty pitcher with different stuff, fresh arms, and all different arm angles.
But still, if you're 150 plus, you're close to once a game that you're striking out.
Agreed.
That's tough.
Yeah, 100%. And I am not a guy who is trying to convince you that you have to be the second coming of Tony Gwynn. Okay? I'm not doing that. I used to do that, but I'm not doing that. And I would remind you that Tony Gwynn never struck out more than 40 times in a season.
Wow.
That year he batted .313, I might add. He also walked 51 times that year. He walked 51. He struck out 40. He batted .313.
It's a lot of hits.
And he had 163 hits. Okay. Oh, how great of a hitter was he? It's 200. It's 200 on a regular basis. All right. 213, 197, 211, 218, 203, 197. Okay. Up and down his resume. Anyway, I'm not trying to do that. But when we talk about strikeouts, Riley Green's getting MVP votes. I know, 9th and 10th place. There's still votes. 9th and 10th place votes. Kyle Schwarber's finishing second. And these two guys are two of the top 3 strikeout leaders in baseball. Aaron Judge won an MVP. And I think he's a great player. I do. And I would hope you would agree with that. All right.
Probably a Hall of Famer. Yep.
Yeah, he probably is. He's probably a Hall of Famer. He struck out over 200 times.
Yeah.
Okay. So all I'm telling you, and Kyle Schwarber's been in that. Look, how many times do people say to me and you during the offseason or during the regular season, I should say, near the trade deadline, let's go get Eugenio Suarez. Okay.
Oh, that was the number one name you heard of with
Okay.
the Tigers. Yeah.
In 2023, Eugenio Suarez finished second to Kyle Schwarber, I might add, in strikeouts with 214. He had more than Riley Green. Oh my gosh. Yes. He's a guy who strikes out a lot, but he homers a lot. I have this debate with a number of my baseball friends, and it's a fun discussion. They want to see home runs.
That's what it is, Shep. People are willing to overlook your flaws, overlook your warts.
If you're homering.
If you're homering and hitting for power consistently.
Yeah. So that's basically it. I say, so you want a guy like that, but you're going to complain about Riley Green. Understand, this dude strikes out a lot. Yeah, but he homers a lot. I said, okay, give me the difference. I want to know how many home runs a guy has to hit for you to accept and swallow 200 strikeouts. That's all I'm asking.
Yep.
That's what I would love to know. I'd love to know how much is enough for you to realize, okay, I can live with the strikeouts. Aaron Judge, 171, hitting 58 homers. Okay, that's cool. Because he led the league in homers, but he led the league in strikeouts too.
It's almost like different sport, but it's almost like Luka Doncic in the NBA because he's so bad defensively, but he's so great offensively. So how much are you willing to put up with that bad defense for 100%. His offensive output?
100%. Well said. I used this example the other day. Cade Cunningham missed more shots in a single game than any player since the 76-77 merger.
31, right?
But he scored 41. He had a triple-double.
46, I thought, or 45, wasn't it?
No, he scored 45? Yeah, okay. Yeah, he scored 45, had a triple-double, and was simply spectacular for the team for the most part. Because they won in overtime, it was against Washington. Because they won, the people in general, their thought was, well, somebody had to take the shots. Fair enough. You got 5 guys on the floor. Somebody's got to shoot them. What if they're missing them, though? What are you saying if they lost the game? That's what I'm wondering. So how consistent are we going to be with that? I'm not saying that Riley Green's 201 strikeouts were acceptable. No, not by any stretch. I'm just asking people, when you look at a baseball game or a player and you see his flaws, Riley Green with the uppercut swing now, looking for a launch angle, analytics, looking for home runs, 38, right? The strikeouts were too much.
If you can lead the league in strikeouts and still get MVP votes, albeit 9th and 10th, right? What does that say about where the sport is?
If you can lead the National League in strikeouts, like Kyle Schwarber did, and lead all of baseball in home runs, why are you overlooking the strikeouts at 197 and only focusing on the home runs?
The positive. Yeah.
So those are the things that I contemplate just a little bit. Anyway, I wanted to let you know that the Tigers did hit some MVP. All right, last night, good win for the Red Wings. I mean, it's a little shaky. They got the lead. They get it back. They got it back. Power play opportunities. A good win for Detroit in general.
Back on track. Yeah.
Well, we hope so.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Is one win snapping a 3-game losing streak? It's not like it's a death blow, but is one win back on track? I don't know. But I do know they played a better style of hockey last night. And look, 25 saves combined by the two goalies, so there wasn't a ton of shots. Dylan Larkin had a multi-point game. He's one of 6 Red Wings to have a multi-point game. He had a goal and an assist. So the big question oftentimes that surrounds Dylan Larkin, who I like a lot, and people happen to wonder, is he a first-line center? Is he Nathan McKinnon's a first-line center. Connor McDavid's a first-line center. Connor Bedard's a first-line center, right? You understand all that. They hope in San Jose, Macklin Celebrini is a first-line center. He sure as hell is playing one right now. Leo Carlson, Anaheim. You saw him last night. He's a first-line center. Is Dylan Larkin? Most people, including yours truly, have said he's not. I've said he is more of a second-line guy. In his prime, John Tavares is a really good example. Right now in Vegas, Jack Eichel, considered a first-line center. So I don't know if people in Detroit buy into that, but I think they're waiting for something, and I can understand why, because it's been 9 years since the team's made the playoffs, and Dylan Larkin's lone playoff appearance was as a rookie. They're trying to figure out, is he the guy to lead this team back to the promised land? Does he get enough credit? Most people outside of Detroit would say no. People inside Detroit would say, yeah, he gets plenty because he's the captain of the Red Wings, and he hasn't led them to where we expect him to lead them. Well, there's a new podcast out with the Tkachuk brothers, Matt and Brady Tkachuk. They talked about Dylan Larkin specifically because they had a chance to play with him on Team USA and were impressed. You know how sometimes, unless you get to know somebody, unless you're actually around them for a while, do you truly appreciate who they are and like who they are? It seems like that's how the Tkachuks feel about Dylan Larkin. This is what they had to say on their podcast about it.
Unreal. He started off as, I think, 4th line right or left wing. One of the best players in hockey and an incredible teammate, incredible leader. Just
great guy.
Great guy. One of our best players, like by the end of it, I felt. So,
and it shows I feel like it shows a special player when he can play with legit anybody and still be at his best. Like that takes versatility, and he's one of the most versatile guys in the NHL.
He might have played
so fun to share with him. He took your spot
when I got hurt and went down.
Yeah, and he played everywhere.
He was great, fun player to watch. On one guy too, I learned a lot from watching him how good he was in practice. I was like, damn, this guy, that's why I don't wish all these teams in the league can play in playoffs, because I feel like he's a guy, if he's in playoffs, people just realize how good he is.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah,
remember, I think it's forced me. It's another great example of people. I'm going to put myself in that bucket. Okay. People who don't necessarily know the sport like obviously these guys do. Never played the sport at a high level like these guys do, but think they know. Until you're around somebody, let me just digress for a minute. when we look at certain quarterbacks in the National Football League, Archie Manning's a great example way back in the day, or whomever, Matt Stafford while he was here in Detroit. A lot of times we'll say, yeah, but they didn't have anybody around them. Did Phillip Rivers have enough talent around him? Does Josh Allen have enough talent around him? We were talking about this last night. I'm watching a football game. I'm talking to somebody. I'm like, you know what? So they said he's never really had a one. I'm like, well, he did have some fun days. He's turned out to be a player in wing, right? But you know, I get it. People said the same thing about Tom Brady when Randy Moss got there. I always mention that you've got Rob Gronkowski, who's considered one of the better tight ends in history. But you want more, right? Again, why are the Lions so successful, Trent? Look at the girth of talent that franchise has right now. Okay,
you can have a game where Jamison Williams catches 0 balls and still the Lions win huge.
Still beat the crap out of the other team. Right. Yep. So you need some players around. Have we done that enough with Dylan Larkin?
I would say no.
I would say no as well. Now, how much does that matter? That's what I'm trying to figure out. How much does it matter that he has enough or not enough talent to be successful? I mean, this is a guy we need to remind ourselves. He was part of Team USA in the U17 and won a bronze. He was part of Team USA in the U18 championships in Finland and won a gold. He was part of the World Championships in 2015 in the Czech Republic, won a bronze. Part of the World Championships in 2018 in Denmark and won a bronze. Was part of what the United States did this past year, and what we would consider one of the more enjoyable experiences in the National Hockey League. And really forced other sports to take a long look at it and what they did midseason. And that's what the Chucks were talking about. That during that, what was it called? The Four Nations tournament, right?
Yes, Four Nations Classic or Four Nations.
So during the Four Nations Classic, the Kachucks are recognized. And I've said this ad nauseum forever. It's hard to impress pros. Been there, done that, right? They've seen it. They're watching Dylan Larkin practice and lead, and they're like, ooh, I need to know more about this dude.
There's something about sharing the ice with somebody, right? And being in the locker room.
Yeah, just
such a difference.
I hope we take a look at this and recognize it. I know we're late for a break. We'll hit a break here. Bottom of the 7 o'clock hour. Rob Rubik's going to join us. Excited for that. It's What's Brewing with Rubes, brought to you by our friends at Ferris Coffee. In Grand Rapids, 100 years family owned, and the official coffee maker, Den Blend of the Detroit Lions. Rob Ellis from Philadelphia, WIP Radio, joins us at 8:18, and Gary Danielson, the icon, at 8:35. He'll be calling the Michigan Northwestern game at Wrigley Field. Cool experience on Saturday. Stay with us. X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive, boys and girls, high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Ferris Coffee has been family owned and operated for over 100 years. Its popular Den Blend and Dark Roast is more than coffee and more than the official coffee of the Detroit Lions. It's a call to rise. Ferris Coffee and the Lions are the perfect match. They embrace those who show up early, cheer loud, and never back down. Den Blend is perfectly roasted in Grand Rapids and provides the ultimate fuel for fans who wake up and roar. Whether you're tailgating at the game or cheering from your couch, Den Blend is your go-to coffee for your game day ritual.
Shop the Meijer 2-Day Super Sale this Friday and Saturday for a good deal better on family favorites. 3-pound bags of select apples are just $1.99 each. Select varieties of Michelina's frozen meals are 88 cents. And select varieties of Aunt Millie's bread are buy one, get one free. Plus, stack your savings. Spend $100 or more between November 12th and the 18th and receive a $10 coupon at checkout. Getting savings on top of savings. That's the good life at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
It's raining cash, cash, cash this November at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Every Saturday from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m., 4 guests each hour will score $500 cash. At 11 p.m. each Saturday, 2 lucky winners will each take home $10,000 cash. Then on November 29th, the excitement peaks. 2 guests will strike it rich with $30,000 cash each. A share of $200,000 in cash is calling your name. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at FreddieThePizzaMan.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit FreddieThePizzaMan.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
you want me to do? Hug and kiss them? Want me to, guys, you're doing all right? No, it's not my style. So when you say I'm being demanding of them, what the hell are you supposed to be doing? You know, we got guys that want to play at the next level. We got guys that want to win championships. We want guys that want to get better every day. Wanting to and doing it are two different things. We're going to see. I promise you something. The free throw shooting thing is going to change.
Man, I love that. I would love to play that almost every single day. That's fantastic. That's
what do you
Tom
want me
Izzo.
to do? Hug and kiss him?
Tom Izzo, after his team's 79-60 win over San Jose State last night at the Residence Center. That Michigan State is where Gary Danielson will be, by the way, this weekend. I said that he'll be at Northwestern. He will not be playing. He is in the broadcast booth for Michigan State and Penn State. Which is great. Maybe I'll be there this weekend. Maybe I'll get a chance to see him. Tom Izzo referring to his team's win over San Jose State, and what I love most about it, there's an old cliche in sports that says you basically you're criticizing public or criticizing private, I should say. So you praise in public, you criticize in private. But what I love most about Tom Izzo is that oftentimes he will criticize after wins. And my guess is that that's a guy privately is putting his arm around guys after losses, but after wins, demanding more.
And that's that word consistent.
And I love that. But I love that about him.
I do,
because that way your teams or individuals don't get fat and happy. Now, he's right about the free throw shooting. They were 17 of 25 last night. That's unacceptable. You're at 68%. They shot the ball well, 48%. Better 2-point shooting teams than 3-point shooting teams at MSU, more than anything else. You know, they're not going to overwhelm you with their 3-point prowess.
Never.
24%, 6 of 25. But what they will do, and when I watch Michigan State play, really basketball, football, and hockey. Sorry if I'm not watching some of the other sports, but football, I've always felt like their staple, or what people love to say these days, is identity, right? What's the identity of our team? Okay. Great question. If I asked you what's the Lions' identity, well, when they play well, when they're connected, when they win, it's up front. They are known for their offensive and defensive lines. Okay, I know we love to talk about Gibbs and Williams and St. Brown and Montgomery and Goff and stuff, but damn it, up front, Decker, Mahogany when healthy, Glasgow, Ratledge, Sewell. That's the identity of the Detroit Lions. Michigan State's identity in football was always that. Offensive line and defensive line, right? Their identity in basketball, and I've covered them for more than 2 decades. Their identity in basketball was always defense, rebounding, and tough twos. In other words, make you hit tough twos. They could hit tough
rebound,
twos. They
run.
weren't a team that lived and died by the 3-point shot. But part of their problem, too, is some of their struggles at the free throw line. So they're not going to. And that can, look, when the NCAA tournament comes around, it is helpful to be able to shoot the three. Whether you like it or not, whether you like the way basketball, where it has gravitated toward, you may not like it, but that's the way it is. I don't like it either. We just got done talking about baseball. Baseball is now about to strike out. It is the risk reward. I'm going to swing for the fences, and if I hit home runs, everyone's going to stand and cheer. And if I strike out, everyone's going to say, "What the hell are you paying this guy for?" I get it. Okay, it's the same thing in football. It has the pendulum has swung. It's a passing league. Jameer Gibbs and Bijan Robinson and Devontae Achane, the reason they're really, really exciting backs, the reason they're really good, and they're going near the top of every single fantasy football draft, they're catching passes as well as running. Christian McCaffrey is really valuable because he can catch the ball and run it. That's who you have to be. All right? We all have to evolve. Some of us, it takes a little bit longer than others. Hand high in the sky. So that's the way it is. Michigan State has always had that staple. Tom Izzo is tired of looking at free throws, clank off the rim, clank off the heel, miss the backboard, and all that other stuff. It's got to be fixed. And he recognizes it. Even after scoring 79 points, even after shooting 48%, even after getting career highs from two different players, he isn't satisfied. I love that. Okay, because he doesn't want his players to be satisfied either. Once you get satisfied, once you get comfortable, you start making even more mistakes and you create bad habits. And bad habits in anything, any walk of life, will doom you. And he has to look out for it. That's his job. He recognizes it. While you and I are like, woohoo, yes, way to go, 3-0, all this other stuff. He's going, son of a bitch, I can't believe my team is doing this, that, and the other thing, right?
Well, remember what he said after the first game? He said, we got to play a lot better this weekend or we're going to get our ass kicked against Arkansas. Yeah.
Right. And they did.
So
they
that's
played a lot better, and they beat Arkansas. And he recognizes the same thing here. They better play better if they want to beat Kentucky. And they want to beat teams in the Big Ten because the Big Ten's got some good teams. Purdue's good. Michigan's good. Illinois is good. Those are the things that he's looking out for. I love that stuff, okay? But I think more importantly is, what he said is, what do you want me to do? Some of it's a little persona because he does love his kids, all right? And he does make sure he's there for consolation. But there's nothing wrong with tough love. And he is the epitome, the definition. If you saw tough love in Webster's dictionary, it should have a picture of Tom Izzo right next to it. And it would be appropriate. And don't kid yourself.
Damn
you
right.
as a Michigan State fan, you love it too. You may not be that dad. You may not be that mom. You may not be the kid who wants the tough love at home. But when it comes to basketball, you think it's kick-ass. I wish more parents and coaches took his advice.
And Shep, I always
the
love
way he coaches. I don't know if that's how he parents or not, okay? But as a coach, that's awesome.
Yeah,
and
there's
we
a
need
big-
more of it, not just at Michigan State or in the Big Ten or in college sports. We need more of it in America. It's fantastic. Go ahead. Run for president, for crying out loud. Well, all right, you want to be governor first? Go ahead. Be the governor. Let's get to the text line. Bottom of the hour, Rob Rubik's going to join us. It's Ferris Coffee Friday. Ferris Coffee brings you Rob Rubik every Friday to give us his thoughts on the Lions as they get ready for the Philadelphia Eagles. We will get a Philly perspective at 7:18. We will do that with Rob Ellis, who hosts a show on WIP. What are his thoughts on the Lions? And then Gary Danielson, who's calling Penn State, Michigan State in East Lansing this weekend, will join us at 8:35. He is an icon. It is his final year in the booth, unfortunately for us, but kudos to him. He's earned the retirement. He is arguably the best college football analyst there has ever been.
I think he is.
Okay.
I'm biased.
And I'm not saying that just because he's coming on. I think Joel Klatt's really good. I think Brock Heward's really good. I think there are I think Kirk Herbstreit's really good. But Gary Danielson set the tone. He's the guy who everybody else is measured against. And he's been on our show before. We really appreciate it. He likes talking about things other than just college football. So we will, he's a big hockey guy. So we'll ask him about Detroit sports in general because he stays connected. He may live in Florida, but he was born and raised in Detroit. Even though he went to Purdue, succeeded Bob Phipps, or was it Mike Phipps? I'm sorry, Mike Phipps, right? Yeah, Mike Phipps, not Bobby Douglas, but Mike Phipps. Doesn't mean he's not connected to Detroit. So we'll get to Gary Danielson at 8:35. Super pumped for that. Super pumped for some texts and your phone calls. The phone number on the Meyer hotline is 866-838-4843. The text line is Sports Radio 21,000. We will get some texts in when we come back on X's and Bros after this.
Huge here with a message to all of you Lions fans. My good friend Josh Garvey, who runs Dorn Mayhew's Grand Rapids office, will join me every Thursday with former Lion Lomas Brown, and we'll go inside the Lions each and every week all the way through the Super Bowl. Dorn Mayhew is proud to partner with the Huge Show, and we're proud to have a guy like Josh Garvey join us in studio every week. If you have a Lions question or comment, you can drop them at Huge Show on Twitter, The Huge Show on Facebook. Dorn Mayhew, proud to be a part of the West Michigan community and across the entire state with their corporate worldwide headquarters in Troy, Michigan. So make plans every Thursday, 5 p.m. It's Josh Garvey, who is a managing shareholder at Dorn Mayhew's GR office, with Lomas Brown on The Huge Show going inside the Lions every Thursday at 5 p.m.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
Yeah, you know it. Rap Rewind 2000. Monday, December 29th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort, featuring the boss, Rick Ross. Special guests, Twister, Baby Bash, and Yin Yang Twins. Tickets start at $75 and are on sale now at the box office at etix.com. Rap Rewind 2000, Rick Ross plus Twister, Baby Bash, and Yin Yang Twins. December 29th at Soaring Eagle, SoaringEagleCasino.com.
Ferris Coffee has been family owned and operated for over 100 years. Its popular Den Blend and Dark Roast is more than coffee and more than the official coffee of the Detroit Lions. It's a call to rise. Ferris Coffee and the Lions are the perfect match. They embrace those who show up early, cheer loud, and never back down. Den Blend is perfectly roasted in Grand Rapids and provides the ultimate fuel for fans who wake up and roar. Whether you're tailgating at the game or cheering from your couch, Den Blend is your go-to coffee for your game day ritual.
18 after the hour. Welcome back. X's and Bros, Monday through Friday, 6 until 9. Glad you're with us. The Meyer hotline is 866-838-4843. You can always text the program, Sports Radio 21,000. Rob Rubik will join us here shortly, and then it'll be Rob Ellis at 8:18 here on X's and Bros. He's from WIP in Philadelphia. He'll give us the Eagles' perspective against the Lions on the Sunday Night Football matchup. And then Gary Danielson, the icon at 8:35, will join us to talk college football, his career, Detroit sports in general, and a lot more. Really excited to talk with all three of those gentlemen here on a Friday morning throughout the state of Michigan. Let's get to the text line. We've got some text. I want to make sure we get people involved and have their voices heard. So what do we got, Trent?
Michigan State basketball looks good. Cam Ward, Kurtang. I'm loving the new cast of characters.
You should. Do you think it's good enough to win the Big Ten?
Yes, I do.
I think it is. I think it is good enough. I don't know if they will. I don't think anybody does. What I love most about this, and my hope is that, the Big Ten is in that conversation for national championship. Duke's really good. Louisville's win over Kentucky was really impressive. If people have had a chance to watch Arizona, they're pretty damn good. I think Michigan State's good enough in this conference with Illinois. I don't know how good Indiana's going to be. I mean, they're 3-0. It's hard to judge people right now. Michigan State, Michigan, Purdue, who else? UCLA is part of that. These are all teams that I think will be in contention for it. It might be as deep a Big Ten as we've seen in a while. And that's really fun. Michigan State's in that mix. Michigan's in the mix too. But that's the way you'd want it. That's the way we should want it. That's the way it is in the ACC on a regular basis. And that, I know, the SEC in football, the ACC in basketball. I want the Big Ten to be, because I think North Carolina is still a top 20 team. I want the Big Ten to be that conference that every other talk show hosts are talking about. Everybody else is talking about.
The conference that's the standard,
Yeah, let's face it. The conference that's the standard in college basketball is the ACC. The conference that's the standard in college football is the SEC.
You could argue, though, the Big Ten is like second in both, which is, to your point, you'd like to
if the Big Ten
number one.
Yes, and that's kind of funny because the last two national champions in football have been the Big Ten.
Right.
But if you think about it this way too, in basketball, if the Big Ten, this is a big if the Big Ten could just win a God bless a championship. That's why I don't care who you are, man. I mean, if you really like the conference, wouldn't you like to have Purdue have won that national title? Wouldn't you have wanted Michigan to win that national title? Wouldn't you have wanted Michigan State to have won that title at Ford Field? So those are all the things that kind of go through my mind. Let's enjoy it. 3-0, big time matchup next against Kentucky. Super fired up for that. All those things are good. We're in a good place. Let's hope it keeps rolling. Next text.
Would Bob Quinn still be here if he hired Mike Vrabel over Matt Patricia?
Ooh, wow, what a great question. Oh, what a great question. That's one of the better questions I think I've ever received.
Because you're on the record, Jeff, saying the Patriots could very well be the best team in football.
Well, I'm not going to take credit for that. I was on record.
I'm not saying you think that. I'm saying you've said that.
What I
could be.
Yes, but I also said before the year I thought Mike Vrabel would be coach of the year.
Correct.
And
you did.
And I said that because I think he's a really good football coach.
Oh, he's awesome.
And you could see it last night. And you see it pretty much if you follow the Patriots every week. And I know some people may go, well, wait a minute, look at who they've lost to. Okay, hold on a second. Hold on. I don't know how you judge teams in the National Football League, but their losses to Vegas and the Steelers are not good. Who have they beaten? That would be a really good question. That's how I think you have to determine who you think We may not come to the same conclusion who you think is the best team in football. If you think it's New England, just because they're 9-2, you're short-sighting yourself. You need to dig deeper. Their wins are against Miami, Carolina, New Orleans, Tennessee, Cleveland, Atlanta, the Jets. Stop me when you found a good team.
Yeah, it's tough.
Buffalo and Tampa.
Buffalo's the only team that and Tampa, I guess, but they're so banged up right now that it's kind of hard to consider they're a great team or anything. Buffalo's their best win, point blank.
And just so you know, Buffalo has lost to the Falcons and the Dolphins in addition to New England.
Yeah.
So when I look at Buffalo, and it was supposed to be their year, remember?
Oh, yeah.
It hasn't been their year. And they don't look very good. And there are rumblings about Sean McDermott.
There should be.
There are also rumblings about Matt LaFleur in Green Bay. And after week 1, in the words of Dennis Green, we were ready to crown their ass. All right? And now, look at how people feel about the Packers. Remember? Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons.
They became the biggest.
Jordan Love is going to be an MVP. Oh, Matt LaFleur is just a better coach than Dan Campbell. That's all we heard.
To win the NFC. Number 1. The best odds. They leapfrog the
all we heard.
Yeah.
That's all we heard after week 1. All the analysts on the 4-letter network. Jordan Love is a legitimate MVP candidate. Why? Well, I'll tell you why right after the break. Oh, okay. It's ridiculous.
I'll
it's
tell you
the
why.
Overreaction in football, in sports in general. So the overreaction after week 1 was disgusting. Okay. And I'm not talking about just from a Green Bay standpoint. I'm talking about from a Lions standpoint. We said they played poorly, bad game, all this other stuff. 1 week into the National Football League season, and people were ready to get rid of the Lions and crown the Packers. Now look at them. After a surprising tie with Dallas, after a loss to Cleveland, after getting steamrolled at home last weekend. I mean, come on. And I mean steamrolled. I know it was only 10-7. Their offense did nothing. Where's the MVP guy? Where's the super brainiac on the sideline?
I'll tell you what, if the Lions would have scored 10 points against the Cleveland Browns, which they did not, and the Packers did.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, Shep, if the Lions score 7 points against the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday night, it's going to get talked about way more than anything that has been talked about the Packers. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. The national media's love affair with Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur. Look, I think Jordan Love's a good player. I do. I think he's a good quarterback.
Fine.
You know,
he's fine.
He's not an MVP like player. I mean, it's ridiculous how people went overboard. Okay. And it's funny because the Lions weren't at full strength. They're under a new DC. I can use a lot of different excuses, and it's not fair, but you see a lot of people with this stuff, a lot of people going crazy over specific players, specific coaches in a knee-jerk reaction, and then having, if they're legitimate, retracting a lot of it. I was wrong. You won't hear that. You won't hear that from the dudes on ESPN. You won't. They're the ones who kept claiming how great Jordan Love is and how the Packers are the best team. And now they're quiet, aren't they? Oh, let me go to the Rams are pretty good. I think I'll gravitate toward that discussion. Crazy stuff. All right, when we come back, we'll ask Rob Rubik about that a little bit too. On a Ferris Coffee Friday, he joins us with Screwing with Rubes, brought to you by our friends at Ferris Coffee right after this.
Shop the Meijer 2-day super sale this Friday and Saturday for a good deal better on family favorites. 3-pound bags of select apples are just $1.99 each. Select varieties of Michelina's frozen meals are 88 cents. And select varieties of Aunt Millie's bread are buy one, get one free. Plus, stack your savings. Spend $100 or more between November 12th and the 18th and receive a $10 coupon at checkout. Getting savings on top of savings. That's the good life at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Soar to new heights of winning with Eagle Casino and Sports. Enjoy your favorite games wherever you are, whether at home or on the go. Dive into exciting slots, spin the roulette wheel, or challenge yourself with virtual table games, all at your fingertips. Sign up now and opt in to receive a deposit match up to $1,500 for the casino, plus up to 100 free spins. Download the Eagle Casino and Sports app today and experience winning with just a tap. Go you! Must be located in Michigan and 21 years or older. Other conditions apply. Visit playeagle.com to join the action. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
You're listening to X's and Bros with Matt Shepard on the Michigan Sports Network. And if you missed any of today's show, be sure to check out our podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere you find your podcasts to find the greatest hits from every day's show.
Huge here with a message to all of you Lions fans. My good friend Josh Garvey, who runs Dorn Mayhew's Grand Rapids office, will join me every Thursday with former Lion Lomas Brown, and we'll go inside the Lions each and every week all the way through the Super Bowl. Dorn Mayhew is proud to partner with the Huge Show, and we're proud to have a guy like Josh Garvey join us in studio every week. If you have a Lions question or comment, you can drop them at Huge Show on Twitter, The Huge Show on Facebook. Dorn Mayhew proud to be a part of the West Michigan community and across the entire state with their corporate worldwide headquarters in Troy, Michigan. So make plans every Thursday, 5 p.m. It's Josh Garvey, who is a managing shareholder at Dorn Mayhew's GR office, with Lomas Brown on the Huge Show going inside the Lions every Thursday at 5 p.m.
Back with you on X's and Bros, 35 after the hour here on this Ferris Coffee Friday. Thanks for being with us. Really excited to talk Lions and Eagles. That'll be coming up here in a moment. Rob Ellis from Philadelphia. He'll give us some perspective from the Eagles. It's part of our Mitch Lyons Wealth poll question of the day. What's the biggest matchup? Okay, we've tweeted it out at XB Mornings. I've retweeted it at Shepard. What's the biggest football matchup this weekend? Lions against the Eagles. Now, I know you're a Lions fan, so you're probably going to vote for that. Both teams have something to prove. Okay? But I want you to look at this, honestly. Rams and Seahawks. Leader gets the top spot in the division. Seattle, who I think has a really good defense, fifth in scoring defense at 19 points per game. Will they be able to stop a really explosive Rams offense? Not just that, but Matthew Stafford vying for an MVP opportunity, right? So that's a really good matchup. The Bills and the Bucs. Buffalo is two teams back in New England in the NFC and the AFC East. A little bit further back, they're paving the way on the road through the postseason. Bucks, could they afford a loss? They play in a really weak division. So perhaps. I would probably rank that fourth of the four. But the Chiefs-Broncos, look at that one. That's not getting nearly enough attention, I don't believe. Bo Nix, who recently got off social media, which is probably smart. He just wiped it clean. I'm done. No more social media. I'm tired of all the haters. They're 8-2. They're 5-0 at home. They've won 10 consecutive home games. Longest streak in the National Football League. They have a lead of 2.5. And it would be really 3.5 over Kansas City. This is a Chiefs team. If they lose, they drop to 5-5, and they'll have to use the road to get back to the Super Bowl. Not like they can't do that, but still, it's a tough road for sure. Let's welcome in our friend Rob Rubik. It's What's Brewing with Rubes joining us here on X's and Bros like he does every Friday. Brought to you by Ferris Coffee. Their Den Blend is not only delicious, it's also the official coffee maker of the Detroit Lions. Rubes, I hope you're well. Well, you got the Lions coming off a big-time win over Washington. They're going into Philadelphia. They're getting some guys back, at least in practice, which is important, right? Terry Arnold, before the concussion, came off a really good game. When you look back at the Washington game, what would you like to see them carry over, besides the obvious, from the win over the Commanders into the game against Philadelphia?
Well, I thought offensively, I thought, Dan took over the play calling, but obviously he's still working with John Morton's in his ear, and they're doing it together. But Dan has final say now. I thought he, for the most part, and this, once again, this is all opinion. Just like, we all have an opinion. I watched the game, his play calling, I thought was good. I thought there was a couple of situations where I would have went a different direction, but, I'm not head coach of the Lions either. But for the most part, he had him, kind of in a yo-yo, but that's also a very thin defense. And then they lose Payne early in the game. He gets booted out the defensive line, and that helps the Lions protect a little bit better up the middle. You get rid of a big dude like that. And that secondary was just, it was bad. I mean, it's been a while since I've watched the Lions game where guys are that open all the time. And, Jared, you give him time and guys in zone sitting down, he's going to pick you apart. He will slice and dice you. And they did. They never punted. Jack Fox probably had to give this game check back because he did not play. So it's one of those situations offensively, I like to see him continue the good rhythm they had inside, outside in the run game. Also in the passing game, they had a lot of good zone beaters. Now they'll see a little more man. You got the kid from Toledo, Mitchell, right? The DB from Toledo, Eagles outside. He's a really good player. Actually, I think he's better than Sauce Gardner from what I've watched, in my opinion. Again, I know Sauce Gardner got the big trade stuff. This kid's pretty good. He's sticky. He's there all the time. So they'll have a little bit better challenge in that front. What scares me about Philly, and I'm kind of getting away from what I want to see from they did in the Redskins, the same type of balance offensively. Defensively, I like to see a little bit more pressure. I think than we got in that game. Marcus Mariota he's a very efficient backup quarterback.
Yeah, he's capable. Yeah,
he's pretty solid. Yeah, he's top 2 or 3 guy in my opinion. I had to go out, say who do you want, and the whole board. I'd take Marcus Mariota would be a good player.
Yeah.
So getting back, I got to move on to this next game because that front scares me. I really think they decided last week in that game to take over, and they did. They took that line of scrimmage and pushed it back quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And we know Jared, when he gets pressure in his lap, it's not a good day for him. So,
well, that's why I was going to bring up the fact that the offensive line didn't allow any sacks, they didn't allow any tackles for loss, and they allowed 5 pressures. But Jared Goff has to get rid of the football. Last week, he actually had 2.5 seconds, I believe, which was relatively long for him. When you look at that situation, are you, as an offensive coordinator, because of how much you respect Philadelphia, trying to get the ball out of his hands as quickly as possible to try and negate some of that pressure?
Absolutely. I mean, at times you are. Other times you got to. I think they have to stretch more. I think they got to use Jameson and really stretch the field, make them conscious. Because when you get a good DB, like was it Quinyon? How do you say
Quinyon Mitchell? Yeah, Quinyon Mitchell.
Yeah, when you have a DB like that, like a Darius Slay or a Dre Bly, guys like that, they start to clamp more and more, and they get more aggressive on the short stuff. So we want to throw short stuff, obviously, because it's easier, higher percentage of completion. The problem is they'll start jumping that stuff, and they'll look to pick one. So every now and then, you got to run by them, and you got to make them honest. If you don't do that, they will start clamping down on stuff and take chances and maybe get a pick 6 or a turnover when you really, really could hurt you in that game. So, yeah, the short game will be there, I think, and that's where Amon-Ra becomes such a big part. But, man, those crossing routes of Jameson, you just saw the speed he has in that game, how he's getting separation. And I just think that's there every game. Obviously, when teams are going to try to play you man, this is what you do. You're going to play us man. We got a guy that you cannot run with. And we don't always have to run him vertically. We can run him horizontally, and he'll run away from you, too. And that's what we saw in that game on those crossing routes where he was just getting great separation. Not just an easy pitch and catch for Jared. It happens fairly quick. So you're going to see that. But, yeah, you got to stretch him deep. You got to just mix it up. Use the screen game some. We didn't see much of the screen game last week. Again, but, they played a lot of zone, so it's not as effective. You like to play the screen game against man when you're throwing the bubbles and the flip screens outside. When you see man on man and, you bring your line out and kick out and have the receiver out there block and so forth. So we may see that a little bit more, and then the running game is got to be a part. But this front, I mean, they're big, they're strong, and they are active. They push that line. I mean, you got the Georgia Bulldog front. It seems like a lot of Bulldogs up there.
Yeah,
and they're good. They Green Bay's offense has been struggling. I get it. They're not putting a lot of points on the board, but that's still a pretty good offense. I mean, you got Josh Jacobs and Jordan Love is a good NFL quarterback. Not a top 10 in my book, but he's still solid.
Yep.
And man, they couldn't do anything. And
they missed Tucker Kraft. There's no doubt about it. They missed Tucker Kraft. They don't have really a one wide receiver, but everybody crowned them after week 1. Rob Rubik joining us here on X's and Bros. It's What's Brewing with Rubes. It's brought to you by Ferris Coffee and their dark blend. That is the #1 seller for them, and it's the official coffee maker of the Detroit Lions. Jalen Phillips was a really good addition to Philadelphia, and he made his presence felt for sure. Tate Ratledge is going to have a battle on his hands, but here's the other thing I want you to comment on regarding the Eagles. We always talk about Detroit's weapons, and they've got a lot of them, okay? Philadelphia does too. Devontae Smith is a weapon. A.J. Brown, even though he needs a pacifier, is a weapon. Dallas Goedert is a weapon. Saquon Barkley's a weapon. I know they don't go downfield as much as A.J. Brown would like, but they can burn you in a lot of different ways, that Philadelphia offense. Do we focus too much on the Eagles' defense instead of the other way around?
Yeah. Well, here's the deal with the offense. So you take the Lions offense, just go personnel-wise, and you compare them against the Eagles. I mean, do you want Amon-Ra or A.J. Brown? Well, I want Amon-Ra all day because he's a team player, #1. He's not whining. He's, like you said, a pacifier, binky. And then, then they have Devontae Smith. He's good. But I think, J-Mo maybe is not quite a catcher of the ball, but he's just as scary. I mean, if you're preparing for the Lions, you look at him on film, you're like, dude, this guy can go. And then you also have Laporta or Goddard. I mean, I'm not trading Laporta for Goddard. And then you got Gibbs and Monty versus Saquon. I'll take Gibbs and Monty together what they can provide against Saquon. But the biggest difference is the quarterback position. I know he wins. Jalen Hurts just is the maybe the best unimpressive quarterback I've ever seen. He just is not a great thrower of the football. And now he doesn't seem like he's been running as much lately.
No.
And that's what helped him a lot in the past of extending drives. So I think your offense is good. I think it's a probably upper third offense, but it's not they don't scare you like Kansas City does or Buffalo does or some of these, even like Indianapolis or the Rams. This is an offense that's a tier down from there, even though they have weapons. You say that. But if you have weapons and you can't get them out of the silo, man, what good do they do you? And that's where A.J. Brown is. I mean, they haven't utilized him. Hopefully it won't be our luck where he comes out and lights it up now and they all kiss and make up and like, oh, we'll get you 15 targets because he's a good player.
Yeah, it's a good point. How important every game's important. I get that, but especially this one because if you're looking for a number one seed in the NFC, and even though the Lions had it last year and didn't take advantage of it, you sure don't want to go to Philly in late January. So how important do you think this truly is? Who needs it more, Detroit or Philadelphia in your mind?
Wow. I hate it when you ask hard questions. It's too early. It's 7:30. I usually do the 8:30 block. I got bumped for my
You're a good friend, yeah.
Yeah, I was talking to him on the phone. That's why you couldn't give me. Anyways, that's a good question. I don't think for either one that it's a make or break by any means. I think maybe the Lions, not even saying a win per se, they had to go on the road. And I know they did against Baltimore, but they had to go on the road this year because they did it against Green Bay. They didn't really compete. Right. And they have to go on the road and show people they're a legitimate team and put a very, I'm not saying a moral victory because they don't need a moral. They're too good to get moral victories.
Sure.
You want to get a victory. But you have to go there. You can't lay an egg like they did against Baltimore a couple of years ago, or they did against Washington in the playoffs. But that's a whole other story. It has to do with injuries. But and they're pretty healthy now. So, but I truly believe they will. They're a good football team. They have good personnel. There's so much parity, Shep. But the Lions are one of the teams with probably top 5 personnel rosters. If you look at it in the NFL, so they need to play like that. So it is important. Who's it more important for? I don't know. I couldn't say either one.
Okay. Did you ever play in Philly? I mean, I know you've been there because you and I were there together. Okay. What was it besides the terrible carpet at the Vet? What was it like playing there?
It was. They were the second rudest fans in the league. The only ones that were ruder were back the day at Foxborough. The Patriot fans were just obnoxious, annoying.
Really? I was going to guess the Raiders.
This was before they were good. These were the bad Patriots back then. It wasn't like they were winning. Well, I guess they did make the Super Bowl in one year against the Bears in '85. But yeah, they were just rude. The Philly fans are just the best. I got a quick story. Best ones are the Raiders. We're driving. I told you this before, but we're driving into I think it was the Coliseum where we're playing the Raiders back then. It was up in Oakland, and we're driving in our bus, and the parking lots are full with nothing but black and silver jerseys. As our buses go by, these people barbecuing, not one of them look at us, but they all almost in sync put their hands up in the air, flipping us the bird.
Yeah,
with their backs to us.
Yeah,
like we're not even worth looking at. And I thought that was outstanding. We're cracking up. Like, we're talking 5,000 people almost at once are flipping off the buses with looking at their girls, talking to their friends, not even looking at us. So good rude fans. Yeah, Philly's it's a place where, man, if you get them down, the fans will turn on them in a heartbeat.
Oh, you bet they will. Bet they will.
Oh, yeah. When they say, "What have you done for me lately, Shep?" they mean in the last 2 minutes.
Yeah. Last question for you. This is our Mitch Lyons Wealth Poll question of the day. What's the biggest football matchup this weekend? Lions Eagles, Rams Seahawks, Bills Bucks, or Chiefs Broncos? How would you vote in that poll question?
I would go Rams Seahawks.
Okay.
Number one. I think those are the two teams right now that I think are the two best teams consistently so far this year in the NFC. So we're going to maybe find out which of those two are the best team in the NFC right now. I know people don't want to hear that. They want to hear our Lions. Well, Lions have not played like the best team in the NFC. Could they be the best team? Yep. But they haven't played like it yet. Right. So I think that's the biggest matchup. But, man, all of them are sexy. I mean, in their own way. You look at Denver in KC.
That's a big game, man. I mean, if Kansas City drops to 5-5 or 5-4, then they're going to have to pave their way into the postseason. It would be 5-5 if they lose. They would have to go on the road if they are in the playoffs at all.
Absolutely, but the 7th spot is going to be some team that's cheeks. I'm telling you, they're going to be a 9-8 team in that 7th slot. And I mean, I really think Baltimore is going to win the North.
Yeah.
So that means I think Pittsburgh might slide in at 9-8 or a 10-7 team, and then you got Duval down there. Jacksonville might slide in there. So whoever it is, so Kansas City won't be out of it by any means because they'll have a chance to get in if they can get to 10 wins, and they'd be 5-5. So 7 games left. Could Kansas City go 5-2? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, Baltimore.
Yeah, it is big for them. They don't want to put themselves behind the 8 ball.
Right. So that's a big game.
Not make it.
I
don't want them in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I don't want them either. I don't think they'll get there, but I've been wrong before. Baltimore, to your point, has won 3 in a row. Great stuff as always, my friend. Thanks for getting up a little bit earlier. I'll tell Gary you said hello. And have a great weekend, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
You too, Shep.
Okay. That's Rob Rubik. What's Brewing with Rubes? Brought to you by the dark blend of the beautiful Ferris coffee. It smells good, looks good, tastes good. My wife has her Den blend in a big Ziploc bag, keeps it in the fridge. It's right there on the top shelf every morning, pouring that into the coffee maker. And the smell is just unbelievable. By the way, they have really good hot chocolate, and they have good nuts, and they have a lot of other things at their store right there in Grand Rapids.
Shep, I was there
100 years, family owned
breakfast.
and operated for 100 years. The official coffee maker of the Detroit Lions. What were you saying?
I said I was there yesterday. I had a great breakfast sandwich.
Oh, that's interesting. They've got some good croissants there. When you and I were there last year, they had the same thing. All right, stay with us when we come back a little bit later on. We're going to get the Philly perspective, all right? And we're going to do that with Rob Ellis, WIP in Philadelphia. He'll join us at 8:18. Gary Danielson at 8:35 on a busy Ferris Coffee Friday morning.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive, boys and girls, high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Ferris Coffee has been family-owned and operated for over 100 years. Its popular Den Blend and Dark Roast is more than coffee and more than the official coffee of the Detroit Lions. It's a call to rise. Ferris Coffee and the Lions are the perfect match. They embrace those who show up early, cheer loud, and never back down. Den Blend is perfectly roasted in Grand Rapids and provides the ultimate fuel for fans who wake up and roar. Whether you're tailgating at the game or cheering from your couch, Den Blend is your go-to coffee for your game day ritual.
It's raining cash, cash, cash this November at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Every Saturday from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m., 4 guests each hour will score $500 cash. At 11 p.m. each Saturday, 2 lucky winners will each take home $10,000 cash. Then on November 29th, the excitement peaks. 2 guests will strike it rich with $30,000 cash each. A share of $200,000 in cash is calling your name. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Your getaway reimagined. Visit SoaringEagleCasino.com for complete rules and details.
What's up, Michigan? You're listening to my good friend Shep. The huge show is coming up later today at 3, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at freddythepizzaman.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit freddythepizzaman.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI thepizzaman.com. Together, we can make a difference.
You are listening to X's and Bros with Matt Shepard on the Michigan Sports Network, but you don't need to be in Michigan to tune us in. Search XB Mornings on X or X's and Bros on YouTube.
Shop the Meijer 2-day super sale this Friday and Saturday for a good deal better on family favorites. 3-pound bags of select apples are just $1.99 each. Select varieties of Michelina's frozen meals are 88 cents. And select varieties of Aunt Millie's bread are buy one, get one free. Plus, stack your savings. Spend $100 or more between November 12th and the 18th and receive a $10 coupon at checkout. Getting savings on top of savings. That's the good life at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Van Andel Institute Purple Community is a grassroots fundraising network powered by the dedicated volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve human health now and in the future. When you raise funds through the Van Andel Institute Purple Community, 100% of the proceeds go directly to the Institute's research into diseases like cancer and Parkinson's, as well as VAI's science education programs. Learn how you can get involved at purplecommunity.org.
You're listening to X's and Bros with Matt Shepard on the Michigan Sports Network. We'll be right back after this break, but while you're waiting, be sure to vote on our daily poll question presented by MitchLyonsWealth.com at XB Mornings on X.
fully support it. You know, I've been doing this for a while. I've been with head coaches that are offensive guys, play callers, so I'm used to that. You know, I feel very prideful with things that I was doing. There's some things that I got to learn, no doubt, just like everybody else. But listen, I want to do whatever it takes to win. I mean, as soon as he said, I'm like, all right, let's go. What do we got to do? That's the way I've always been in this business. I've been cut 6 times. I've been fired. Man, you just march on, okay? Because it's always about the team. It ain't about me and goals and this and that. No, the ultimate goal is to win the Super Bowl.
That's John Morton, the offensive coordinator for the Lions. You know what's really interesting about his situation? Obviously, he's had the play calling duties taken away last week, and it'll be Dan Campbell calling the plays again this week. Jeff Jenick, our friend who is a college coach for years and still should be, told us last week, or was it earlier this week, Trent, that what an offensive coordinator is doing, okay, while the head coach is still calling plays. So he's still involved. Here's what I try to grasp. I give him full marks for saying what he said. Like, going in front of the media after you lost the primary part of your job and answering those tough questions sucks. Right? How many people have the guts, the humility to do that? Not many.
Well, and unfortunately, you kind of have to, right?
Well, no, not necessarily.
Well, you have to face the media is what I'm saying.
No, he really doesn't. He can let Dan Campbell talk. He can let Kelvin Shepard talk. He can let anybody else talk. Scotty Montgomery talked earlier this week. There are ways you can make excuses where I'm not available this week.
Okay. Yes.
But you're right. I mean, for the most part, that's part of your responsibility is what you're saying, and I think you're right about that. The thing about it is we want, almost demand, athletes take accountability. I want to know why you threw that punch and why you're not willing to answer for it. I want to know why you screwed up and aren't willing to answer for it. I want to know why you did what you did, and you need to stand tall and answer for it. I'm going to ask you the questions. Face the music, right? John Morton does that. And people are just like, this guy's terrible, don't want him here, all this other stuff. We want team players. A.J. Brown is getting crucified because he's a selfish player. Am I wrong there?
No.
Okay.
No, he's getting killed.
John Morton is acting just the opposite. And he's getting crucified. What is it that people want? Honestly. I mean, A.J. Brown, they come off a win. He has 3 catches for like 13 yards. Barely gets targeted. Second time this year, he's bitched to the media about this. And you could count a third because one time he was gaming with a friend and said, hey, if I'm on your fantasy league, drop me. So that's part of it too. And people are just, I can't believe this guy. He reads books on the sideline and blah, 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 blah. All this stuff, right? And I'm not saying people are wrong about that because I don't like selfish players either. I don't like people talking about me. I don't like people who use their name in the third person. And we see a lot of that in athletics today. But then we get a guy who's like, I'm all about winning. You're taking away the play calling duties. Sure, it sucks for me, but you know what? Let's just keep our sleeves rolled up and let's talk about winning. Let's do things that we think are going to make a difference for our football team every single weekend, and I can help this team win. How is that a bad thing? Have we turned so cynical and so negative where we got to take a guy who's had the humility to stand in front of members of the media, asking him tough questions and having to admit, I wasn't good enough. In so many words, that's what he's doing. Wasn't good enough. And people just like to go, stick that in your eye right there.
And wouldn't you so much rather have the humility and the humble attitude than a guy that gets up there and is like, well, plays were taken away from me because
making excuses.
BS. Yeah.
Look, when he came out and said, if you recall, he came out and said, look, we've got to get better protection. It's all fixable. People left that part out of it. That's the funny thing about what we do in media. We clip things and edit things the way we want them to sound.
Well,
So
we sure
it's
do.
immediately clipped right there. What he said was, this is easily fixable. But all people did was, man, he's throwing his players under the bus. I tell you what, I don't want him part of my organization, blah, 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 blah. It's not what he said. You and I say that too, by the way. You and I both go, how can Jared Goff not get protection? If he's not going to get protected, he can't throw the football. Shep, all the time I hear what? He isn't very good under pressure. I get hit over the head with a mallet with that type of stuff.
Yep.
He's just saying what we have all admitted for the last year and a half.
Yeah.
But when he says it, it's like, oh my God, how is this possible? How can a coach do that? Tom Izzo says this is a win, 2 thumbs up. John Morton says it after a win or after a loss. Oh my God, you traitor. What the hell is going on here? I don't want nothing to do with you. Let me get back to the text line because we missed one earlier. Fire away on the text.
I see Riley Green's mom and dad voted for MVP. That's pretty good.
That's really good. I had a number of chances to talk with his parents. They're really good people, but that's really funny. Thanks for the comic relief on a Friday morning. Let's get to the final results of our poll question and the daily wager. The final results of the poll question from this question: should the Pistons trade for Anthony Davis or Lauri Markkanen? Those are the two rumored names. I swear. I couldn't separate the two. I just wanted to see if you thought the Pistons should make a move. Anthony Davis, no. Please, absolutely flipping not. As good a player as he was, he cannot play any longer from a health standpoint. If he's healthy, I would strongly consider it. But depending on what they would want back. But right now, he can't play. He's hurt all the time. Okay. And the reason I bring up two big guys is because I would remind you this. Isaiah Stewart misses a lot of games with injury too. Keep that in mind. He misses a lot of games. I know you love yourself some beef stew. You want to sit down at the counter, pour beef stew into a bowl, and lap it up during a commercial. But I'm just telling you right now, he gets hurt a lot, and he misses a lot of games. So how did people vote?
Well, so I wasn't here yesterday, so I tweeted this out with Anthony Davis, Lauri Markkanen, and neither as a third option.
Oh, that's a good job. Yeah, okay.
57% said neither. All right. 39%.
Okay, said neither. All right.
Yeah. 39% said Lauri Markkanen. Only 4% said Anthony Davis. So, Shep, everyone, our listeners, at least who voted, seem to agree with you. Anthony Davis is not a good move.
Okay, good. I'm glad they feel that way because I'm in total agreement. And just so people are clear, it's not that I don't like Isaiah Stewart. I do like Isaiah Stewart. But let's remind people that, last year he played 72 games, which is great. Missed him for the playoffs, but it was great. Year before, 46. Year before, 50. Year before, 71. Year before, 68. So he's playing a lot of games, but he's not playing every game. And I know that can be hard. I'm not looking for an Iron Man. I don't want the second coming of AC Green here. I'm just saying he gets hurt quite a bit. And availability is really important. What about the daily wager? I think the daily wager was Lions and Eagles yesterday. So we've got to wait on that. So there really is no new daily wager. That's the wager. The Lions and the Eagles. And I think the 47.5, I believe.
Over 47.5. Correct. Yep. And I also I'll just throw in a bonus, Shep. I love the Rams this weekend against the Seahawks. Big game. We talked about it with Rob Rubrick. I love the Rams.
Seahawks have won. Right. Seahawks have won 10 straight road games.
And by the way, that
more than anybody else
Seattle fans
in the National Football League. And we know that the Rams do not have a great fan base. Neither do the Chargers. But remember, when the Niners were there, it was a San Francisco home game.
Yeah.
When we come back, we will talk a Philadelphia home game. And we will do that with Rob Ellis from WIP. He will join us to give us the Eagles' perspective on the matchup with the Lions Sunday night right after this.
Shop the Meijer 2-day super sale this Friday and Saturday for a good deal better on family favorites. 3-pound bags of select apples are just $1.99 each. Select varieties of Michelina's frozen meals are 88 cents. And select varieties of Aunt Millie's
nice.
are buy one, get one free. Plus, stack your savings. Spend $100 or more between November 12th and the 18th and receive a $10 coupon at
See other
checkout.
people on there?
Savings on top of savings. That's the good life at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all deals in the Meijer app.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
Yeah, you know it. Rewind 2000. Monday, December 29th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort featuring the boss, Rick Ross. Special guests, Twister, Baby Bash, and Ying Yang Twins. Tickets start at $75 and are on sale now at the box office at etix.com. Rap Rewind 2000, Rick Ross plus Twister, Baby Bash, and Ying Yang Twins. December 29th at Soaring Eagle, SoaringEagleCasino.com.
Make sure you listen weekly to our Moving Ferris Forward interviews with Ferris President Bill Pink and other leaders who are moving Ferris forward. Find out more about Big Rapids and Ferris and what they have to offer at ferris.edu.
pretty fired up for the Lions and the Eagles Sunday night. Not just because it's Sunday night football, not just because it's football in general. Love clashes of tight. Look, there can be really good football games. There can be a ton of good football games, even though the teams may not be very good. Earlier this year, there was a Thursday night football game between Pittsburgh and Cincinnati. It had Aaron Rodgers against Joe Flacco. Most people looking at the football schedule would have looked at that game and said, "Yawn, want nothing to do with it. Why am I going to waste my time? It's 3 hours I'll never get back in my life." Wrong. It turned out to be a really entertaining game. Last night was pretty entertaining. I know the Jets stink. They won 2 in a row, 7 on the year. And the Patriots are apparently the class of the AFC East. And they've got an MVP candidate in Drake May. And they've got a coach of the year candidate in Mike Vrabel. But it was an entertaining game. Sometimes really big games can disappoint you. I don't think this one Sunday night will. Let's get the thoughts of Rob Ellis. He's an award-winning radio talk show host at WIP. On Twitter at @REllisSports, and he joins us here on X's and Bros. Rob, appreciate it very much because I know your time is demanding of others. So wanted to get your thoughts on Lions and Eagles and who it means more to going into Sunday night.
Ooh, first of all, I agree with your assessment. This one's not going to disappoint. This is not going to look like some of these Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night, yawn fests. I think this one's going to be a titanic matchup. I think it means more to the Lions, frankly, because they're in a tougher division. Yeah. And I think it's not that it doesn't mean anything to the Eagles. It's going to be big start in terms of seeding, but they're in a division that's really disappointed overall, aside from them. So. I think it's bigger. The Eagles have also been very good in conference thus far. 6-1, I think, off the top of my head. It might be I think it's 6-1, 5-1 or 6-1. But no, I think it means more to the Lions in this one than it does the Eagles. And that's not to say that there's going to be any kind of letdown. You don't let down with a team like Detroit. Mm-hmm. And one of the things, other than the Giants game, the first Giants loss that the Eagles had, it's one of the really good traits about Nick Sirianni is he has his team up and ready for any team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, winners of 3 in a row, and you're right, 6-1 in conference play so far for Philadelphia. When you look at the Eagles, and you've been besieged by this all week long, I know you get tired of talking about it. I don't blame you. I would too. The topic has been A.J. Brown, okay? You're still winning, and you still got a guy who wants to be part of the winning. Let's put it that way. Instead of me saying he's bitching left and right, he wants to be part of the winning. How do you think the Eagles have handled that situation? And how do they rectify it?
I don't think it gets rectified. I think he's gone in the offseason.
Okay.
I never thought for a second that he was going to be traded at the trade deadline. It just didn't make sense financially. You were trying to win a Super Bowl this year. Howie Roseman didn't make all these moves that he's made since the season started to bolster the edge and cornerback to just punt and get trade a great receiver. So, but I also think they've gotten to the point where they've talked to him so many times about this that you throw your hands up at this point, and you just hope that it doesn't get too combustible in season, and you can get through this and try and win another Super Bowl. But I think ultimately this is headed for a divorce, and it's a shame because it's completely unnecessary, and we've seen it in sports a million times. And I don't think AJ's your prototype diva that we've seen in other places. He's a unique guy. He's a thoughtful guy. He is an intentional guy with what he says. I think it's a blend of everything. I do think he wants his numbers. I mean, there's no way around it. I think he wants his numbers. You look at Saquon Barkley this year and the dip in his numbers, and he hasn't said boo, where he could absolutely be screaming from the highest mountaintop. So I do think he wants his numbers, but I think he wants to contribute to the team, and he feels like there's a lot more toothpaste in the tube and they're not utilizing it. So it's a little complex, but ultimately, would you prefer AJ just keep the stuff in-house? 100%. I think he feels like he's done enough in-house and he's being ignored or whatever. So now this is his, best outlet, but I don't get it. Even when we had a big game against the Vikings, he was chirping. So it's it's a shame. I wish he would just handle his business inside as opposed to outside.
Yeah, to a certain extent, I get it, but you're right. I mean, he ranks 45th or below in receiving targets and yards overall. So I do understand the frustration, but it's hard to justify when you've won 3 in a row. Who has more talent, do you think, on the offensive side of the ball? Who has more talent, Detroit or Philadelphia?
Oof. You can make a case that they're the two best, the most talented offenses in football. I would probably lean Detroit, actually. Skill set. Let me hedge a little bit for you. Let me do what every sports talk show host shouldn't do for one second.
Okay.
I think the Eagles have a better offense. I'd be getting yelled at by my boss if I did this, but this is between you and I. I think the Eagles have a better offensive line right now, considering some of the things that have happened to Detroit with defections and injuries and whatnot. Yeah. And the Eagles are getting healthier at that spot. I think where the Detroit has better running back, at least production-wise, receiver and quarterback, because the Eagles' offense has been uber choppy. Mm-hmm. So if you're asking me to lean one way or the other, I'm leaning Detroit. But there's a lot of talent there that's not being utilized enough on the Eagles' offense.
What do you like about the Lions?
I love Dan Campbell. I absolutely love Dan Campbell. To me, as an outsider watching this guy, I think he's the perfect blend of everything you'd want in a football coach. I think he is old school, motivational in a lot of ways, not some meathead coach. I think he's a very smart coach. I think he knows when it's time for him to step in and do something, as witnessed by, the last week, what he did. He's also not a guy who's going to, like Green Bay or like Buffalo, who's crying and whining about the tush push. Just stop it instead of crying about it. I think he just gets it. And his insights about Philadelphia were hilarious. Like, I'm an Eagles, grew up here, and I know what the fans can be like. He nailed it. He was awesome. He's like, if you're a competitor, you love going into these situations. Sure. And while other fans are waving at you, and you know the quote better than I do. I'm paraphrasing, but these guys aren't exactly waving at you. They might be waving one finger at you, but he thrives off of that stuff. And I admire the guy, man. I love Detroit, but I also think that offense with the dimensions that Gibbs gives you, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Goff. I mean, there's just so many weapons there and so many different ways that they can hurt you.
What's the team in the National Football League you don't believe in that everybody else does? And which team do you think is a surprise, sneaky surprise, that not enough people are paying attention to?
I don't know. I'll start with the latter. I don't know that they're sneaking up on anybody anymore, but you look at New England and the way that Drake May's playing and how good that defense is. And I think Vrabel is right now just in his wheelhouse going back there. I would not, if I was an AFC team, feel real comfortable playing them by any stretch, on the road or at home. So if people aren't awake to them yet, shame on you. They're the real deal. I was kind of waiting early in the year for them to sort of become a pumpkin. I don't think they're going to become a pumpkin. So I think they're the real deal. The one team I'll say within the NFC is the Rams, and not from a talent or coaching perspective, but I do wonder if Stafford can stay healthy. This is a guy who really, up until right before the regular season started, had back issues. We know he's an older guy who's taken a lot of shots. I want to see if over the course of the last 7-8 games that he's going to be able to hold up physically. And if he can't hold up physically, it's a game changer for them. So I think they're the team to kind of keep an eye on. And I know you can't really account for injuries, but you can look at history here with an older guy. That's going to be very curious to me to see if he can hold up. So I would probably throw them in that category.
Great stuff, man. I really appreciate your perspective. Have a great weekend, Rob. Keep up the great work there in Philadelphia.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one, guys. Have a great weekend, and hopefully we'll talk soon. Take care.
All right. Thanks a lot, man. Always appreciate it. I love doing that. I really do. I mean, good job by Trent. Trent reached out to Rob Ellis. He's been on before. I love getting perspective from other people around the country who are in NFL markets or sports markets in general. So that was great. It doesn't always have to be a team against the Lions or against the Detroit team. It's just a different perspective, and it's fun to talk. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll have another podcast a little bit later on when we come back. The best who's ever done it. Gary Daniels joins us on the other side on X's and Bros on a Ferris Coffee Friday after this.
Yeah, you know it. Rap Rewind 2000. Monday, December 29th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort featuring the boss, Rick Ross. Special guests, Twister, Baby Bash, and Ying Yang Twins. Tickets start at $75 and are on sale now at the box office at etix.com. Rap Rewind 2000, Rick Ross plus Twister, Baby Bash, and Ying Yang Twins. December 29th at Soaring Eagle, SoaringEagleCasino.com.
Van Andel Institute Purple Community is a grassroots fundraising network powered by the dedicated volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve human health now and in the future. When you raise funds through the Van Andel Institute Purple Community, 100% of the proceeds go directly to the Institute's research into diseases like cancer and Parkinson's, as well as VAI's science education programs. Learn how you can get involved at purplecommunity.org.
I think the word great is overused in sports, period. I think we use it as a way to describe somebody when we sometimes struggle with that. I don't use it lightly in this case. I think Gary Danielson is great at what he does. I wish he would continue to do it. I think he is iconic. I mean that. I don't say that because he's here. I think he's an icon in the world of college football and football in general, analyst work. He is the measuring stick. He joins us here on X's and Bros. Unfortunately, it's his last year. We wish we could talk him out of it, but he will be in East Lansing this weekend for Michigan State and Penn State, and he joins us here on X's and Bros on a Ferris Coffee Friday. Gary, hope you're well. Hope you and your family are doing great. How do you feel when people say you've accomplished an awful lot in your career? You know, you led the Big Ten and you did, completion percentage and touchdown passes at 11 years in the NFL. But you are best known as the best analyst in college football, perhaps history, I would say. How do you feel about that?
It's been a lot of fun. I mean, I really kind of never saw this part coming, to tell you the truth. And I don't want to stumble all over your introduction, but I just got a call about an hour ago from the son of Newberry, the husband of Debbie Rubik, one of the great Northwood volleyball players of all time, the father of Samantha, Ryan, Drew, Olivia, of Grand Valley State, my tight end, Rob Rubik. You actually pushed Rob Rubik back for me to come on at this time spot. He was very upset about this. You know that, don't you?
I do know that, but I did text him last night and said, listen, you are my priority because I love Rob. He's one of my best friends. He's one of your best friends. So if you can't do it at 7:35, as much as it may pain me, I will have to say, Gary, can we do it another day? But I'm glad he was willing to do that.
That's why, before I talk about myself, I do love to talk about my guys, and I was so proud of the way I played. I got to be honest, when I look in the mirror, I still see a football player. I still see a UDFA, an undrafted free agent working his way into the NFL. I did play 13 seasons. A couple I were injured. You get credit for it, even though you don't play. But I was on those teams. I'm not being critical or anything. I'm just trying to say it was a tremendous run. And Rob tells a great story, and it kind of sums up what my life was like, kind of as a player, or guys like Rob or the NFL. Not everybody's a superstar. Mm-hmm. He had a conversation with the great Chris Spielman one time. I don't know if he's ever told you guys this on the radio, but if not, that's a great story. And he and Spiels are talking about the upcoming training camp, and Chris is talking about how he needs to he's got to work on his, the way he flips his hips when he goes back in drop coverage, and how he reads the outside zone, and working on keeping lower leverage in training camp. And he goes to Rob, what are you going to work on? He said, I'm going to work on making the damn team is what I'm going to work on. And that's kind of what my life was like. I mean, there was a lot of good parts of it. I played, that competitive quarterback playing in your hometown is not easy. When things are going great, it's great. When things aren't, it's tough. It was tough on my kids, my wife, and you have to have blinders on. You have to, the team is depending on you to perform. And for the most part, I always felt when I was playing, I was 2 games away from, being gone. So it was a 13-year, you just had to be competitively strong and mentally strong. And my teammates always trusted me. Coaches trusted me. So I love that part of it. Now, the broadcasting part, very similar in a lot of ways. A lot of people, listen to you. Things you say carry a lot of weight. Coaches sometimes hear a little, maybe half the story you're giving. And the games I've been doing for 36 years, no criticism of everybody else, but I bet 90% of the games I did had national, championship consequences. This week is not included, I'll admit that. But that's what it's like doing those games. And, I knew that if I wasn't ready to work, I had to put in the work. I had to go to the practice. I can't be on TV criticizing a player or a coach if I don't show up and do my homework.
Thank you.
I've been proud of that. I don't agree with every opinion I talk about during the game after I listen to it, but it's an honest opinion and an informed opinion. That's kind of what I try to do when I do these games.
You're a legend, Gary. You're a legend.
Yep. There's absolutely no question about it. And it comes across in the broadcast. I think I've said this about broadcasting TV, calling games. If you don't know what you're talking about, you get exposed quickly. So I think that's the beauty of what you've done for your 6-time Sports Emmy Award-winning career and 36 seasons, and it shows. I would say this. I think college, you can disagree with me all you want. College football is in a bad place. I don't like the transfer portal. Obviously, NIL is not NIL. It's pay to play. And I think college football needs a commissioner. Is it something you would consider, and do you concur with my original thoughts?
So I think the complications of this are almost impossible to solve. A commissioner, it's not one league, okay? Everybody's not the same. And who would a commissioner represent? Would he represent, the MAC, the ACC?
No, just the Power Four conferences. It's just the Power Four conferences.
Yeah, and even there's not even equality in the Power Four conferences, as you know. It gets very complicated. I think you're correct. It would be nice if it had more rules across the board that applied to everyone. But for that to happen, the powerful schools would have to seed stuff that would be very tough. They have an advantage. They have more money. They have more alumni. And so what is the Michigans and the Alabamas and the LSUs and the Texas, by the way, who produce the best ratings for TV and make the league the most money because their games on television are much more valuable. Witness the game that we're doing this week. God love Michigan State, and I do love Michigan State. But this game would not be on if they weren't playing Penn State, because Penn State will just attract some viewers, so there's a value to the league. So I just don't know how you solve this. It's not the equation of the Power Four being equal to the NFL. For that to happen, there's going to have to be the Big Ten and the SEC even to expand more. If for that to happen, each would have to go to maybe 24 teams, 2 divisions of 12, and that would eliminate a lot more players. Now, let's go to the transfer portal. I kind of like the transfer portal. I did think about a Joe Burrow who would not have played at Ohio State. Okay. The opinions of the coaches there is Joe Burrow needed to move to tight end. Well, Joe Burrow believed in himself, and he was right. And I think a lot of players, we're finding a lot of these guys out there that get more opportunities, and there's more avenues for them to seek who they're going to be, like in any other business. Now, the money part of it has always been hard to solve. There's always been the rumors, and I think probably more true than not, that certain teams were paying players anyway, under the table. Mm-hmm. Now it's above the table. But I do think that money's going to go to somebody. And when coaches have the freedom to move anywhere they want for any amount of money, it's hard to say that the players can't share in that. So
I don't disagree with that.
I really don't.
I don't disagree with that. My point is there needs to be guardrails. I don't have a problem with a player transferring either, but there are no guardrails. And I think what we've lost in college football to a certain extent, I'm not expecting everybody to show up and be able to wear Gary Danielson's jersey at Purdue next time they visit West Lafayette. All I'm saying is at some point, the beauty of what college sports used to be is a connection between that fan base and its team. And I think you've lost.
Well, there's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. And I think another thing that's a little bit different, I did 18 years in the SEC. And I've done the other 18 years basically in the Big Ten before and after. Growing up in the North, it's very hard for a football fan, a TV football fan, to be a Saturday and Sunday viewer. Growing up in the North, as much as, I'm a Michigander and I knew about Michigan and Michigan State, I never went growing up as a kid to a Michigan or a Michigan State game. The first live college football game I ever saw was after I signed at Purdue.
Wow.
I was a Lion fan, and most people in the Midwest and the North, Ohio maybe a little different with Ohio State, Pennsylvania a little different with Penn State, are NFL fans. Well, in the South, that's not the case. Yeah. In the South, kids grow up being an Alabama fan, a Tennessee fan, stuff like that. So there isn't even equity there. The sport is so different in the different regions. It's really going to, and I guarantee you this, any guardrail you put up, somebody will figure out a way around it.
Yeah, you're probably right there. You head to Michigan State, where the Spartans take on Penn State, as you mentioned. And, it's unfortunate in today's landscape of college football, but it's just the way it is. You don't get a chance to build programs. You're building teams. Jonathan Smith, people are wondering, are they going to get a Big Ten win? And is he going to be there for very long? From afar, what's your take on how he's done as a head coach? And where do you think Penn State heads for their next head coach?
Yeah, unfortunately, this is where the transfer portal and the changes in college football, where you're 100% right. The days of building, like maybe Northwestern when Randy Walker did it, Gary Barnett did it, where they build a team to a fourth and fifth year seniors, or the way Wisconsin and Iowa built teams, or even Michigan State in the day that, waited and kind of rode the wave when they had a lot of fourth and fifth year veteran players. That seems to be over. When Kurt Signetti is out there winning games in Indiana in 2 years, it just serves notice to all these athletic directors, the frustrated fan base, and then even more frustrated donors to these universities that are asked to give a lot of money. They're going, well, wait a second here. We're paying our coach $8-10 million. And the guy down at IU took the losingest program in the history of college football and turned it around in 2 years. Unfortunately now, fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know, however you want to look at it. I mean, these coaches take these jobs for a lot of money. They know what's at stake when they take it. It's more like taking an NFL job than a college job. You have to win. And there are paths to turn your team around quicker than it used to be. And unfortunately, you have to do that. You cannot depend on taking a kid from Dearborn, Michigan, or, Southfield, or, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and training them for 4 years. There can be a few of those, but the base of your team have to be ready to play every year.
Yeah. What does Michigan State do to sell its fan base besides winning, do you think? Because I think it's a program that has that capability. The Michigan State. Yeah.
I think they're more than loyal. I think Sparty fans are everywhere I go. They're loyal to their team. It's a little bit of another difference that I noticed when I did SEC football than Northern football. Okay. For Northern fans are rabid for their team. Okay, Michigan and Michigan State people follow their team. Iowa people follow their team. They don't expect them to win the championship every year, but they follow it and they'll watch them on TV. In the South, SEC fans, even though they might be a Florida fan, they want to watch Alabama LSU. It's not very often that a Sparty fan is really excited to watch Oregon play Iowa.
Yeah.
You just don't get the same type of loyalty to the conference. So I think the Sparty fans are fine. I don't think they expect the football team to win the championship every year. What they don't expect is what's happening right now. Mm-hmm. I mean, they go, wait a second, now this is, there's been a lot of reasons. We've had some tough losses. Things haven't worked out, but I don't think they're going to go away. I don't think you're going to lose Sparty fans, but you got to give them more than they're getting right now.
Yeah. Hey, last thing from you real quick. Big Ten, $2.4 billion private equity. What's your thoughts on that marriage?
Yeah, I hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I don't understand that at all. Private equity people are one thing I think you'll agree with. They're into making a profit.
Sure.
So if they're going to give you $2.4 million, they're going to figure out $1 billion. Excuse me.
Yeah,
they're going to figure out a way to make a profit on it. And I don't understand why all these smart people at these universities can't figure out how to do this themselves. And I'd be very leery of joining up with people that give you money and expect to make a profit on it.
Perhaps because some of those people at those universities aren't very smart. That could be part of it.
That may be true.
They think they are.
Somebody who is.
Yeah,
Tony Patiti is very smart. So
he is.
He must have a great plan. We'll see. He'll be on the carpet for it. If it's not right, he'll be in trouble. But Tony is one of the smart people in all sports.
Let's hope you're right there. We've been really fortunate for you to grace our television sets for 36 years. You do an excellent job. It's going to be really hard. You are the standard. Other people are going to have to follow. I think there's some good ones. I think Joe Klatt's good. I think Brock Heward's good. I think there's some good analysts out there. But you've set a really high bar. Thanks for all that you've done. We appreciate you making the games more enjoyable for us. Have a great weekend.
Thank you. I just very proud of our work. I've had some great people to work with, Hall of Famers all along the line, but it's been a great run. Thank you.
Yeah, please tell Brad Nessler I said hello. I think he's the best at what he does too. I absolutely agree.
I've had 3 in a row: Nessler, Musburger, and Vern Lundquist. That ain't bad.
Yeah, that's not bad, and it's not bad that they've had you. So thanks for the time. Appreciate you.
Appreciate it.
All right, that's Gary Danielson joining us here on X's and Bros. Outstanding insight to what he's got going on this weekend. Michigan State,
so damn good.
State. So good.
Awesome.
So
that'll be up as a podcast later. By the way,
when you talk about polished, you talk about somebody who commands a room, speaks well, says things that are intelligent. That's Gary Daniels, and really excited to listen and watch Michigan State, Penn State. He will enhance your viewing pleasure. I meant to ask him about Billy Sims and Jahmyr Gibbs. Damn it! Why didn't I ask him about that? I wanted to ask him if Jahmyr Gibbs is
the comparison.
Just is he the? Everybody talks about Barry Sanderson for good reason. Billy Sims was unbelievable. He was so good.
Yeah.
Gary played with him. Career cut short, way too soon. Not enough people appreciated him. Is Jahmyr Gibbs like him? And I didn't ask him, and I'm really mad at myself. So I apologize for not doing that. Damn it. Anyway, had a great morning with you. Thank you very much. It was awesome. Our thanks to Rob Rubik. Our thanks to Gary Danielson, of course. That will both be up on podcast. And our thanks to Rob Ellis. Thank you to you for some of your text.